Most people here become unrecognizable in 90 days and immediately think it means doing more. More discipline, more habits, more pressure. But see, that's not what creates real change. And if you keep approaching transformation that way, you will burn out before anything actually shifts. So stop trying to transform your life. I know that sounds strange, coming from someone making a video about becoming unrecognizable in 90 days. But the people who actually change aren't the ones pushing harder. Okay, they're the ones who figured out something most people miss entirely. Now, there are 4 things that you can do every single day that take less than 20 minutes combined. And if you do them consistently for 90 days, you won't just feel different. You'll respond differently. You'll show up differently. And when that happens, your entire life starts to shift. Now, if you watch my other videos, you already know this is not about grinding harder or white-knuckling your way through another self-improvement plan. My name's Reg. On this channel, we talk about real, lasting change that doesn't require you to become someone that you're not. See, a few years ago, I was the guy with the perfect morning routine on paper. I wake up early, journal, meditate, review my goals. I was doing all the things. And I still felt like I was running through mud. I would sit down to work and my brain would fog over. I'd snap at my kids over nothing. I'd lie in bed at night replaying conversations from 10 years ago. See, I wasn't lazy. I wasn't broken. I just didn't understand what was actually running me. And until I figured that out, no amount of discipline was going to fix it. So what I'm going to share today is what actually shifted things for me. 4 simple practices. Morning, evening, and then 2 small habits throughout. None of them take long, but if you stay consistent for 90 days, you'll notice something most people never experience. You'll stop reacting to your life and you'll start responding to it. But before I walk you through these, I need you to understand why most transformation attempts fail in the first place. Here's what nobody tells you about change. Most people who try to transform their lives are fighting the wrong enemy. They think the problem is discipline, so they add more structure. They think the problem is motivation, so they watch another video, read another book, do another course. They think the problem is effort, so they push harder. But the real problem? They're trying to build a new life while still carrying the weight of the old one. So your nervous system doesn't care about your goals. It doesn't care about your vision board or your 5-year plan. It cares about survival. And if you've spent years accumulating stress, pressure, unprocessed experiences, and even old beliefs about yourself, your nervous system is using all of its energy just to keep that stuff contained. That's why you can know exactly what to do and still not be able to do it. Sound familiar? And that's why motivation feels like a spark that keeps dying. That's why you start strong and then you fade out every single time. You're not broken. You're just overloaded. And here's the part that matters. There are 2 types of people who hear this. Those who decide to do something about it. And those who keep pushing, keep grinding, and slowly go numb until they don't recognize themselves anymore. See, I've seen both paths. And I can tell you, the people who win aren't the ones who try harder. They are the ones who finally stop working against themselves. So these 4 practices are how you do that. Let's get into it. The first practice is how you start your day. And this is where most people lose before they've even begun. Think about what happens for most people. They wake up and immediately grab their phone. Messages, notifications, news, other people's priorities flooding in before they've even stood up. Their nervous system is already in reactive mode. The day has not even started. But if you want to become unrecognizable in 90 days, this is where it begins. The first 10 minutes of your morning. So here's what this looks like. 10 minutes, no phone, no input, You're not trying to fix your life or plan your entire week. You're just creating space. So for the first few minutes, just breathe. Slow and steady. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Nothing complicated. This is not some advanced meditation technique. This is telling your nervous system something very simple. I'm safe, I'm present, and I'm in control. Then for the remaining minutes, think about the day ahead. Not perfectly, not unrealistically. Just ask yourself one question. How do I want to move through today? Calm or rushed? Focused or scattered? Present or reactive? You're not predicting the day. You're setting the tone for it. Most people let their circumstances decide who they're going to be each day. This flips that around. You might be thinking this sounds too simple to matter. But here's what actually happens when you do this consistently. Your baseline state starts to shift. You stop starting each day already behind. That's the morning. But there's something most people do at the end of every day that quietly drains them without realizing it. So that's practice 2. So the second practice happens at the end of your day, and it takes 2 minutes. Here's what you do. Before bed, notice something most people never track. Ask yourself, what emotional state did I spend the most time in today? Not what you wanted to feel, what actually showed up, the most familiar emotional states. Was it stress, pressure, irritation, anxiety, or was it calm, focus, presence? Just notice, don't judge it. And then ask one more question. What did I say to myself today? Did you compare yourself to others? Did you downplay yourself? Did you casually criticize yourself without even realizing it? Did you talk yourself out of things before you even tried? See, a lot of people don't realize how often they keep themselves small. Sometimes it's to avoid standing out. Sometimes it's to not offend others. Sometimes it's old decisions and beliefs picked up years ago that are still running in the background. You don't need to analyze it. Just notice it. When you start paying attention, patterns become obvious very quickly. And once you see them, they start losing their grip on you. I'm curious. If you did this exercise right now, what emotional state would you say you spend the most time in today? Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. So noticing is powerful. But there's a third practice that takes us even further. And honestly, this is the one most people skip, which is exactly why they stay stuck. So pay attention here. This next practice might sound simple, but it's doing something most people don't understand. So this third practice is intentional self-talk. And before you skip past this, let me be clear. This is not about pretending everything is amazing or repeating affirmations that you don't believe. Here's the thing. Every belief you hold right now was built through repetition. The way you see yourself, what you think you're capable of, what you think you deserve, all of it came from repeated thoughts and messages, most of which you didn't consciously choose. So this practice is about choosing what gets repeated from now on. So pick 5 simple statements that matter to your life. One about time, one about health, one about self-respect, one about money or work, and one about ease or support. For example, I make time for what matters to me. My body moves towards balance and health. I respect myself and my decisions. Things come together when I take aligned action. Life supports me when I move forward. Now, these don't need to be perfect. They need to be yours. They need to feel true enough that you can say them without rolling your eyes. Say them every day. In the shower, in the car, on a walk, not once, multiple times throughout the day. So you're not trying to convince your conscious mind. You're giving direct instructions to your subconscious. And these are new instructions. And you see, the subconscious learns through repetition. So you've got the morning, the evening, and the internal work. But none of it matters if you don't move. And that's where practice 4 comes in. So the last practice is action, but just one. One thing every day that moves your life forward. One conversation you've been avoiding. One piece of focused work. One boundary you need to set. One decision you've been putting off. That's it. One thing every day. See, momentum doesn't come from intensity, it comes from consistency. So one action a day for 90 days is 90 steps forward. Most people try to take 10 steps in one day and then nothing for weeks. That's not momentum. That's a sprint followed by a collapse. And here's the part that matters most. If you miss a day, don't punish yourself. Just resume. That act alone, resuming without self-criticism, rebuilds trust with yourself faster than any perfect streak ever could. So when you've done this for 30 days and you notice you're actually following through on things, what's the first project you'll finally finish? What's the conversation you'll finally have? And that's what consistent action unlocks. So why do these 4 practices actually create change? You stop starting your day in reactive mode. When you notice patterns at night, you stop being unconscious about what's actually driving you. When you change your internal language, you reduce the resistance you create against yourself. And when you take one aligned action, energy starts coming back online. And that's why motivation begins to feel natural again. Not forced, not manufactured. It shows up because you stop working against yourself. Remember when I told you I was doing all the things and still felt like I was running through mud? This is why. I was adding without subtracting. I was piling new habits on top of an overloaded system. And these 4 practices flip that. They create space first, then the momentum comes naturally. So most people think they need more motivation to change. But motivation is the result of change, not the cause of it. So when you stop draining your energy through unconscious patterns, motivation has room to return. Here's what I want you to remember. Don't try to overhaul your life. Reset your days. 10 minutes in the morning, 2 minutes at night, 5 statements, and 1 forward action. Do that for 90 days. You won't be trying to become someone new. You'll simply stop carrying what was never meant to come with you. Now, for some people, these 4 practices are enough. You do them consistently, things start shifting, and you build from there. But for others, something different happens. You start the practices, you feel some momentum, and then you hit a wall. Old patterns resurface. Emotional reactions that feel bigger than willpower. Moments where you know exactly what you should do. There's something inside you resists anyway. If that happens, it's not a sign you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that there's something deeper running in the background. And that's actually good information coming to the surface. Now, everything I've shared in this video will help you create momentum, but it doesn't explain why some people do these practices and fly while others do the exact same things and still feel stuck. There is a reason for that, and it has nothing to do with discipline or consistency either. In the next video, I'm going to show you exactly where your energy is actually going. So I use a simple model called the energy cube, and when you see it, everything clicks. You'll understand why your nervous system feels drained, even when you're doing all the right things. Why certain patterns keep showing up, no matter how hard you try. And what's actually required to get that energy back online. So if these 4 practices resonated with you, that video is where the real shift begins. Watch it right here.